Hello, friends, and welcome back to another day of Scaling Stories. Today, I've got some more highly upvoted posts from Best of Redditor updates for y'all. Like always, I'll be reading you the posts and giving you my opinions, and I'll also be working on building up my Minecraft world at the same time, so I hope you enjoy. Also, I'm currently only in Spotify's creator program, so watching on there would help me out a ton. Thank you so much for your support. Today's first story comes from the Pro Revenge subreddit. It was posted by carbonlandrover on October 1st, 2016, and was titled, "Block My Driveway? I'll go ahead and take your vehicles." Friday night here in the country can get a little crazy sometimes, so I don't mind when my neighbors cause a ruckus or loud party, as long as it's not too crazy. Tonight, I'm on call for Virginia State Police towing rotation, which means I've got 25 minutes to get to wherever the wreck/DUI/impound/etc. is. As luck would have it, my neighbors are having a party, and guess what's blocking my driveway? That's right, about 25 to 30 cars. I live down a dirt road at the end of a cul-de-sac, and it's pretty narrow. One in, one out type of deal. And with this rain we've been having, parking in the grass/clay/mud is really not the best idea. Even with a 4x4, it can still get tricky. I noticed a few cars coming in early this evening and walked over to my neighbors and made it pretty clear I was on call, and as long as they didn't block the road or my driveway, all would be good. No problems here. Well, I get a call from my boss, asking if I can go warm up the rotator and the light-duty flatbed, tow trucks. It's about 12:30 a.m., so I get my boots on and other gear because if I'm up, I might as well stay at the shop and clean a few things to stay busy and make the night move along. I get in my car, and as I'm backing out of the driveway, I notice I'm blocked in. I don't mean by one truck, but by nearly 15 different vehicles. I calmly walk over to my neighbors, about a 1/8 mile hike, and as I'm looking for them through the crowd of drunk teenagers, some idiot wants to know why I'm on his property. He's not the property owner. I've never seen this classy gentleman. Finally, I find my neighbor and ask her if she can move the cars. I've got to go to work. She says in a normal tone, doesn't yell over the music, into the house. "Whoever's blocking the driveway next door, move your trucks," then slams the door in my face. I knock again, and she answers with a drunken, "Oh God, this BTCH again?" Internally, I'm thinking, all right then. I do my best to explain. I'm on call and need to get out of my driveway to go to work. She comes back sloshing a natural light, exclaiming, "It's a party! Relax!" Shuts the door in my face and yells, "F that dyke CNT." I smile, and as I'm walking away, Macho Man throws a beer at me and cackles, "Yeah, you best leave. Go on, git." I get on the phone with dispatch and call for as many trucks as we have available tonight, about 10, and tell them to come on over. Mama's got some PPIs, private property impounds. I call police dispatch and ask if they'd send out an officer in case things get out of hand. And as soon as he gets to my place, my rigs start rolling up and hooking vehicles up and taking them to the impound yard. We get down to the last 3 vehicles, a yellow Civic, gold Silverado, and an old F-150. The Civic owner bolts to his car and takes off. The Silverado girl, pretty wasted, gets stuck and starts tearing up my property. Officer walks over and she throws a fit. Long story short, she gets arrested for underage drinking and DUI. The Ford owner doesn't show up. I get to work after all the impounds, and with me, I brought coffees and snacks for my drivers. Tomorrow's not a business day, which means if these tools want their cars back, it's going to be the regular $289.50 plus 2 days of storage at $55 a day and a $100 gate fee. I make a note in every single storage sheet, papers that the vehicle owners get, to thank the girl who had the party for getting towed. Several of the kids' parents called, wanting to know where their cars or trucks were. I gave them the yard address and told them they can come anytime. As soon as they started shouting about illegal tows and threatened with lawyers, I showed them pictures of their cars with no parking signs, and explained that I tried to reason with the owner of the property, me, but she was tired of being blocked in by drunken teenagers. There are signs on my road saying no parking and not to block the driveway. Don't piss off a tow truck driver, she'll legally take your vehicles. Scaling Stories Corner. Well, well, well. Ain't that some karma? I think these teenagers or really young adults kind of deserved it, and maybe it'll teach them a lesson about being respectful about like other people's property and space. Because dude, that girl that was hosting the party was trying way too hard in acting nonchalant and acting like everything revolved around her. So I bet she felt like really cool in the moment, like constantly slamming the door in OP's face and treating OP like she didn't matter. Dude, honestly, after the first door slam, I would have considered that so disrespectful. Even especially because the girl wasn't even like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'll go get the people who are blocking your driveway to move immediately." And like actually make sure they go and do it. And then like apologize to OP again for blocking her in the first place. Because remember, this is your neighbor. You live next to this person every day. It's a no-brainer to not be on bad terms with the people that live next to you for no good reason. Now, here are some of the top/relevant comments from the original post. Commenter 1 says, "To the people in this thread complaining about the cars getting towed, etc., I don't know where you're from, but where I'm from, this crap?" She says in a normal tone, doesn't yell over the music, into the house, "Whoever's blocking the driveway next door, move your trucks," then slams the door in my face. She answers with a drunken, "Oh god, this BTCH again?" She comes back sloshing a natural light, exclaiming, "It's a party, relax," shuts the door in my face and yells, "F that dyke CNT." Macho Man throws a beer at me and cackles, "Yeah, you best leave. Go on, git." It's absolutely effing unacceptable behavior. If you think that's just a normal way to act, you probably deserve to get your car towed too. Commenter 2 says, "You gotta be pretty stupid to block the driveway of a tow truck driver." Commenter 3 says, "I also tow in Virginia. Excellent job getting their cars. But goddamn, your company is ripping people off. Gate fee? Charging storage when your office is closed? Jesus effing Christ." OP adds an edit to her post. "The gate fee is only for after hours. It covers expenses of overtime for the office staff, who have to get out of bed and come to work in the middle of the night. Also, how do I sleep at night? With a glass of chocolate milk while reading Ask Reddit." Update 2 days later. I'm going to go over a few things real quick because this is ridiculous. First, what happened over the last 40 hours? 1. 7 of the 15 cars towed Friday night have been released, and I explained to everyone I could the situation, what happened, and why they were towed. If they felt like they were in the wrong, I showed them pics, and their vehicles were released. The other 8 have yet to be picked up. Also, in case anyone doesn't know, only the registered owner can come get the vehicle. If mommy and daddy own it, they have to come get it. Silverado girl has a 30-day hold on her POS truck. I won't be at work tomorrow, but I did leave a note on the girl's desk to call me if they had anyone giving them a tough time about what happened over the weekend. There was one kid who was an ass and threatened to call the cops. I offered to dial and even asked if he wanted a drink while he waited. The cops never came. His dad wasn't happy about the toll bill and called me a crook, which honestly hurt my feelings. 2. There are some salty people in this thread. 3. I talked to the parents of the kids who threw the party, my neighbors. The mom apologized, and I accepted. I've got to live next to these people for a long time. There's no reason to be an ass clown tool shed. The daughters got in serious trouble when the kids, who got towed, parents called to complain about getting towed. I don't think there will be any retaliation. I wasn't trying to get her in trouble, and I told her mom that. She reassured me that it wouldn't happen again. 4. As someone pointed out earlier, F you, OP, you ruined that girl's life. I didn't make her drink and get in the truck. She could have asked someone else or quite literally just not done what she did. 5. This post seems too well written and one-sided. Must be fake. OP's a liar and should rot in hell. How do they have 10 trucks at their disposal? Hey, thanks. I'll be sure and add that into the bedtime stories I read my son. I apologize for making my post too well written. As for being one-sided, you've got a point. I didn't interview the teens next door on how they felt about getting the punishment of breaking the law. We have a heavy truck, a lowboy, rotator, dozens of flatbeds, and also wheel lifts. It's called being on rotation for police agencies. I have no idea why some people think we're a 2-bit tow company. I have lied before. One time, my significant other asked me if I took the trash out, and I said yes when I really didn't. Whew! What a load off. 6. Alright, let's all take a big gulp of chocolate milk and ask ourselves a question. Picture yourself at home. It's time to go to work, and there is a car parked in your driveway. You cannot get out of your driveway to go to work. What do? Call into work? Call 911? Watch Frozen? You have that piece towed because they parked on your property. Would you like it if I parked my truck in your grass? On your lawn? Blocking you from leaving? Of course not. 7. You illegally towed them, you piece of crap. First things first, I illegally own half of the private road going into the cul-de-sac. I didn't have the cars towed that were on the road. I had the ones towed that were on my property with several no parking signs. I know some of you don't drive or own property, so I don't expect you to understand. If you are on call, you have to do your job. If you don't do your job, you no longer have a job. 8. Good golly, if you don't like tow trucks or think they're all crooks, you clearly haven't been saved by one. All those folks who break down on the side of the road, guess who comes to the rescue? Dogs trapped in a hot car? Tow truck drivers come and unlock the doors. Remember the time you had a dead battery and needed a jump? Yeah, you're right. We're money-hungry crooks that deserve to burn in hell. 9. If I ever catch someone towing my car, I'd kill 'em. Clever. Seriously, if your neighbors ask you to do something as easy as not parking on their property, especially if they don't complain about you throwing loud parties, just be a good neighbor. But if you sleep better, call me a liar, CNT, dirty karma WH3, whatever. Sit around and pout about it. Don't take advice from strangers. Come park in my driveway. I'm sure nothing bad will happen to you. Haters gonna hate. Baby, I'm just gonna... Oh, it's the song. I'm just gonna shake. ScalingStories Corner. I don't know. This story seemed pretty believable to me. Like, the mom and dad were probably away for the night or something. Or maybe just the mom. I don't really know the parent situation for the girl or girls, because I think OP said daughters with like a plural S. So the parent or parents were probably not home for the night for whatever reason, and the girls knew and threw a party. And of course they don't care about their neighbors. They're like young and hella immature. So OP gets them all in trouble, within her legal rights of course. And the parents come back and they're like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, my kid, my kids, they're absolutely in the wrong. Like, let's agree to try to be friendly neighbors still. Like, sorry for causing you trouble. Yeah, that seems pretty plausible to me. Now here are some of the top/relevant comments from the update post. Commenter 1 says, as someone who has neighbors, I appreciated the crap out of the original. Your property, your rights. And you asked nicely before the crap went down. Commenter 2 says, if I ever catch someone towing my car, I'd kill 'em. Did you hear that? I heard the cry of a wild moron. Commenter 3 says, people seem to either love or hate tow truck drivers. I paid countless thousands of dollars for parking spots at my old office and was able to watch them from my window. It's amazing how many people think the giant private parking vehicle will be towed. Right in front of their stall doesn't apply to them. At least once a week, someone would park in one, or sometimes even use two, and leave their car there for the day. The look of bewilderment transforming into rage they had when they came back to find their car missing was always the same. Some people just need to learn the hard way what those signs mean. Okay, friends, so that concludes our first story of the day. Next up, we have a story from the Relationships subreddit. It was posted by 40416 on April 4th, 2016, and was titled, 27 female with 27 male of 5 years. Gave up and said I hypothetically wouldn't marry him anymore only to find he has a ring. He's trying now, but I don't trust it. Resentment galore. My boyfriend and I had a huge and rare fight on Easter, culminating in me telling him I would not marry him as he is, after being together for almost 5 years and living together for most of that time. I was saying that hypothetically, as we've spoken of marriage before, but he eventually revealed he has a family ring in his possession now. I still said that if he were to officially ask, I'd say no right now because I feel alone in our relationship most of the time, and there's no point in a marriage with no companionship. We mostly don't have companionship because my boyfriend games for at least 35 hours a week, and often more, in addition to a full-time job. I like gaming, but I don't do it because I know I will binge on it. Instead, I go to the gym, read, write, watch movies and TV shows, go on walks, and sometimes go to coffee shops or out with friends. I've asked him to join me in any/all of this in the past, but he yells at gaming friends over the TV, games even when we are watching something new, doesn't want to go out or tells me he doesn't want to stay anywhere late, and just doesn't feel like doing much of anything else I ask about. I pointed all of this out in our fight, though I've communicated these issues countless times, as well as the fact that I do about 80% of the housework, and that I am always the one to initiate it and have to nag him, which I hate doing, to make him help. I thought saying all this to him, in conjunction with the fact that I wouldn't marry him at this point, would wake him up. But a few days after our fight, my boyfriend spent a few $100 on unnecessary gaming crap. I didn't even have it in me to argue. I just receded into indifference and rang a few friends about visiting them in other states to get away from my "I'm not cheating on you or hitting on you, so I must be a great boyfriend" relationship. I drunk confessed to one of them that I honestly didn't believe we were going to make it anymore, but that I didn't have the heart to end it either. I drank a lot and cried alone and came to the conclusion, at one point, that since he didn't buy the gaming crap with malice, maybe he's just that effing clueless. That honestly made me feel a little bit better until he noticed I wasn't humoring him as much. "We can go, but I don't want to stay late." "Okay, it sounds like you don't want to go, so I can go alone. Bye." He started saying things like, "I love you. Forever?" He tried to have sex with me, but I didn't feel like it, because he's pretty selfish in the bedroom. And he finally said, "We're okay, right?" And I told him no, but that I had nothing new to say. So he's been texting me more, as opposed to hardly replying to mine. He initiates errands that he forgot about for over a month. He has been making dinner despite buying himself a restaurant lunch almost every day, emptying the dishwasher after I wash the dishes and load it, telling me I'm beautiful, offering to do things for me, and trying to give me a massage. And yet, I find I'm mostly just angry. I'm angry that he ignored me every other time I brought these issues up for almost 5 years. I'm resentful of his countless one-sided orgasms and the number of times I've washed and folded or hung his clothes. The hours logged into WoW, StarCraft, CSGO, Dota, and the countless other realities that were more important than the one he shared with me, even when I was standing next to him, trying to speak to him, or just wanted to have a quick meal together. And I'm just so angry that, judging by this brand new and improved version of himself, he knew what he was doing wrong the whole time, and it wasn't until I finally seemed to have given up carrying us that he bothered to hold his own weight. Maybe this is what most hopeless significant others dream of, a hint of change. But one, I don't know that I believe it's a real change. Most of me thinks he's just doing this to placate me. I'd be afraid to marry him and see him revert when he thinks it's all settled. And two, I don't know that holding his own weight is enough anymore. Maybe that's the resentment speaking, but I don't know that spreading ant killer and putting your socks in the laundry basket is enough to make me buy into this relationship again. I don't want to be resentful. I don't want to hurt him or be cruel, but he's acting like a good boyfriend and keeping his head down, I suppose, in hopes of making me forget our fight and play along, and it's not enough. But I don't know what enough looks like. My friends recommended that I put together a specific list of what I need to see to think the situation is truly better, but I don't know where to begin or what to expect. I've thought of asking for counseling as a start, but he thinks 24 hours of good behavior means that I shouldn't be upset anymore, so I don't know that he'll agree to go. Do I ask? Do I insist? I want our relationship again, but I really need some help figuring out how. ScalingStories Corner. I don't even understand people like this. Like, the boyfriend is clearly putting in the effort now because OP has withdrawn. But, like, why don't you just put in the effort beforehand and just learn to do these things before things get so bad? Like, aren't these good traits to have in a relationship? Like, if you love your significant other, of course you'll help them out with the laundry or the dishwasher, or you'll compliment them, or you'll ask yourself, like, what can I do that would make him or her happy? It really makes me think that because these people or OP's boyfriend didn't do that before, but they're only doing it now because people like OP or withdrawing, and they're like predicted to leave, that they don't actually love you, or in this case OP. If they actually cared about you, they would have been doing all that stuff beforehand. And this has been too many years of neglect in the relationship. I honestly don't know if I would give this guy another chance if I was OP. But it's on her to decide, because like maybe the memories of the good times, if there were any good times with this dude, are just that strong. Now here are some of the top/relevant comments from the original post. Commenter 1 says, I personally wouldn't give him the time of day. His half-ass efforts of trying now, after you've had a huge fight about it, just seem like it's trying to temporarily appease you. You're not getting any younger here. If he's not the guy you see yourself spending the rest of your life with, you need to start working on moving on sooner, rather than later. I mean, I guess you could put in a bunch of effort into asking for a list of specific changes, but in my honest opinion, you shouldn't have to do that. It's one thing to ask for some changes here and there, but it's another to ask for groundbreaking, fundamental change in which he stops being a sloth, in which both of you magically know how to start communicating, in which he stops blowing his finances on gaming crap that he uses to ignore you. OP says, RE the list. I think I feel that way too. He told me he'd change, but that I'd have to show him how. That made me livid. He said he didn't have good examples. I grew up in an abusive household with an alcoholic and a borderline personality, so how is that a valid excuse? His parents are still happily together, though his mother does basically direct their lives. Her saying is, men may make the living, but women make the life. But I've told and shown him 1,000 times that that's not who I am or want to be. I honestly think my boyfriend could become a great man and partner, but I feel like it's not going to happen as long as I'm around. And that effing blows. Commenter 2 says, so he's been texting me more, as opposed to hardly replying to mine. He initiates errands that he forgot about for over a month. He has been making dinner despite buying himself a restaurant lunch almost every day, emptying the dishwasher after I wash the dishes and load it, telling me I'm beautiful, offering to do things for me, trying to give me a massage. And yet, I find I'm mostly just angry. I would be angry too, because all of those actions show that he has known all along exactly what he needed to change. He just left it until you were literally about to break up with him. He didn't care enough to change for the sake of the relationship, but only when it's actually going to cause a breakup. He sounds lazy and selfish, and I would be totally done with him at this point. I doubt he's even got a ring, if you haven't seen it. OP says, I thought the same about the ring, because he has referenced an engagement before as what I believe was an emotional manipulation tool. So I looked, and I found it. But it broke my heart that I was snooping for a ring, not from excitement and a need to see it and a hopeful suspicion, but from jaded disbelief. I'm a teacher, and I told him that if I asked my students as a class to please make sure they're on task and 3 of them jump and shove their phones in their bags, then I now know that they know what they were doing was wrong. So if the threat of losing me makes him jump and change all of these things, I now know he knew what he was doing wasn't right. So that's 5 years of mistreating me just because he thought he could get away with it. And that hurts. Update 3 months later. Well, against all advice and reason, I committed to giving my relationship another go. We attended counseling. The first session was painful but productive. We worked on goals. Our counselor said that my resentment could heal if I agreed to stop questioning whether my boyfriend's efforts were sincere, and if I just took it day by day. He agreed to limit his gaming to an hour or 2 a night. As long as he was making a genuine effort and we were communicating, our counselor said we could work it all out. Within a week, my boyfriend was back to gaming all day. We were affected by the flooding in Houston, and he was so stressed by all of it. He just couldn't do a darn thing but kill people in Counter-Strike to cope. I booked tickets to the opposite side of the country to see friends. He spent my last weekend in town gaming for 12 plus hours a day. My last night in town, he got my birthday wrong and guessed 3 times to get it right. What? When I got back almost 2 weeks later, he made a big show of not gaming and doting on me with exaggerated charisma. I'd be watching a TV show, and he'd stare at me till I asked why, and he'd say something like, I'm just mesmerized by your beauty. He pouted when I didn't want to have sex with him and told me he was overwhelmed with sexual frustration since he wasn't gaming anymore, and it's like I'm seeing you and how sexy you are for the first time in years. I started getting so anxious, being badgered about effing someone who doesn't even know my birthday, that I started having to drink heavily to tolerate it. Anyway, I went out of town again, and when I got back this weekend, he made this joke. We have two friends who are twin brothers. The slob lives in the neat freak's house and pays rent. He was paying $400 a month just for the room, and the neat freak asked for a mere $100 more to cover the purchase and prep of all food, plus all chores, from laundry to cleaning the entire house. Pretty sweet deal, right? My boyfriend thought this was a hilarious imbalance and said, "So, slob, neat freak is basically your girlfriend, right?" Because a girlfriend is someone who stupidly does everything for someone and is too whipped to ask for much of anything in return, I guess. I didn't even feel like I snapped. It was more like something softly clunked into place. It wasn't even a fight. I'm just done. He has since been texting mutual friends to tell them I kicked him out, and he had no idea this was coming. They've known us for years and see through it, but it's still pretty crappy. I've since found out he also told at least one male friend about my breast augmentation, and I overheard him telling gaming friends how dope it was that I can't get pregnant. Good times. He seems to think that 5 years of BS isn't a good enough reason to break up and is now claiming I'm the love of his life, and he'd never have given up on us. He's supposed to come over today to sort some stuff out with the lease, I guess, but I could use some support reminding me that I've made the right choice. ScalingStories Corner. Yo, I completely forgot about this guy's video game addiction when I was giving my opinion before because mostly I was just way too tilted from the other crap. But yeah, this guy's garbage. I mean, he doesn't even love his girlfriend. He loves the idea of having a girlfriend. And OP ended up giving him another chance. And yeah, of course, I don't think she should have done that. But it's hard sometimes, when you've been with someone for so long and you're just hoping that they'll change for the better and you'll be able to live in that happy relationship that you've always envisioned. I think what I've seen people say on TikTok before, my bad. I think what I've seen people say on TikTok before is that that's what they call dating someone for their potential. And you don't want to date people for their potential because you'll just get let down and hurt. So good for OP for finally leaving this guy. And I think she definitely made the right choice. Now here are some of the top/relevant comments from the update post. Commenter 1 says, "I'm assuming to you look fantastic after losing the weight of that albatross around your neck. You're allowed to look out for yourself. That isn't selfishness. That is self-preservation. You will probably be amazed at how much easier life without him will be. I mean, you'll be a little lonely. Not much, though, because you weren't really getting a lot of interaction or support from him, by the way you tell it. But friends can help. And the joy of knowing a mess you're cleaning up is a mess you and you alone made, that is truly priceless. Also, now you can reconnect with what sex is like when a partner cares about your pleasure, about making you feel good and great. It will be intimidating at first, but fun. You've got a whole life ahead of you. Congrats." Commenter 2 says, "Don't you dare take him back. He is a leech. He is a bottom feeder. He wants a live-in maid and a blow-up doll. You should not return to that." Commenter 3 says, "It's odd how those moments of, 'oh, I'm done,' can come with such amazing clarity, isn't it? I went through something similar to what you've described with an ex. Everything went into hyper bright slow motion, just like it does in a car accident, and I swear I both heard and felt something like a joint being popped back into place inside my head. I'm glad you dumped this guy, though I'm sure it's not been easy. Also, LOL at all his protestations that he never saw it coming. You're definitely doing the right thing. Just stick with it. You deserve so much better than the 'I'm not hitting you or cheating on you, so I'm the perfect boyfriend' type of guy. And be safe whenever you meet with him." OP adds an edit to her post. "I had a friend come sit on my couch while my ex came over. My ex came in with a really aggressive body language, saw another male was present, and visibly deflated a notch. He was still pretty angry, but he didn't take it out on me as much as I feared. He told me he never said I could have our house, rental, and that if I wanted to leave, then I needed to get out. He originally gave me this speech about how I'm family and this is all his fault, so I should stay. But now he's saying that he never said that, along with a bunch of mean remarks. I know I have as much of a right to be here as him since we're both on the lease, but honestly, it's not worth the fight. Realizing that the person I've loved for 5 years would rather see me have to struggle to find somewhere new to live with our 4 pets, whom he only guilted me about but didn't even try to work out keeping any, was eye-opening in a terrible way. He said a bunch of spiteful things to me and the person I had with me, slammed the door a lot, and left. Then he started texting me again about how much he loves me and I'm family and anything I need, I can ask him for the rest of my life. Except a place to live, I guess. I could never forget how he spoke to me when he told me to get out. So that's the closure I needed, though it still hurts. I am already looking for a new home. Thanks to everyone who commented and messaged me in this post and the previous. I really appreciate the stories and words of encouragement. I'm going to cuddle my pets, drink more coffee, and listen to my bad BTCH playlist while I search rental home listings. Okay friends, so that concludes today's video. Leave a like and comment down below to let me know what you thought of it, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.